I then approached the edge of the plane. I have pomopnacha mind. My brain is like shouting, "Hey, you fool, the fool." We all have a voice inside we call. I went over the edge and jumped. I experienced the emotion of utter bliss, though I didn't fall and I flew such, and I fell somewhere a little more than a minute. That must be an eternity. When you're in water, flight of eternity. I recognized this cabin during the flight. I experienced the emotion of utter bliss, part of what I'm trying to do. My 50, I try to experience all the things that I did not allow myself to experience before, and I have a list of these things. In the process I learned how harmful fear is and how much it interferes with life. You cannot be happy if you are afraid, and now I am just like this, with face to face completely what I was afraid of before. I'm slowly gaining more and more freedom in my life. I did bungee jumping from a helicopter over the Grand Canyon, but I don't advise you to do this. It's better to do skydiving, but not this. Fear creates the most terrible things that only exist, and to be free from it is a necessary condition for enjoying life. I agree with you. Winning over fear should be a goal for everyone. I'm motivated by fear. Fear is afraid. I hate being afraid to do something very simple. It's what I believe in. I am willing to die for it. You can't be afraid to die for the truth. The truth is the only constant thing on earth. You can't be afraid of what will happen to you if you say the truth, because that's what you. If you don't tell the truth always, it will be worse than when her. Say the first step before either another. Believe it. You got it. Believe it makes sense to have a plan B, because he distracts you from plan A, and I think that psychologically at the advantage that I get on your rivals them difficult to make the first step when they see how the path long for me never lengths. This is always step by step, brick what I learned in childhood. This is what I believe now, is that you don't must try to build a wall you don't set up themselves, and to build you have to say, I will build the biggest awesome best wall whichever build you begin. But it is better to say, I'll put this brick, and I put it so perfectly. How soon do you put on the ground? There will not be a single brick that was the same. Better than this. You apply this approach every day and soon you have a wall. I've never considered myself particularly talented. What I'm good at is plowing like a horse while others sleep. I work while others eat. I work unlike talent. You are one of the biggest misconceptions, especially for people who have dreams, trying to achieve something salon from nature. The skill also produced clocks resistant. I always knew that I can work hard enough. I had no problems with discipline or with the willingness to take. The victim has no easy path, and not matter how talented you are, your talent is gonna fail you if you have no skills, if you don't learn, if you not working hard enough, if you not dedicated to get better every single day. My dad was a shop and some. The reason why he decided that he wants a new wall, it took almost 5 meters in height and 9 meters in length. Just took from it an old wall. My brother had to dig almost a 2-meter hole in order to lay foundation. We were mixing concrete just 1.5 hands. A year and a half we built that wall every day after school. We were mixing concrete and poured into the pit. It was just me and my little brother. I remember as was standing looking at the wall and said, this pit will be here forever. A year and a half later you put the last brick. I know that my father planned all this. He says that he didn't do it, but I know that he wrote it all down, planned it. For the last 2 years I stood my father and my brother. We looked at this wall. My father looked at me and at my brother and said, never tell me again that you can't do something. And then he went to the store and I agreed that I would play in the film, and I really wanted it myself. I liked the idea. There were about 2 weeks of preparation for the company, and at that time my father was diagnosed with cancer. At first it blew me away again, and then it was so coincidental that I found it hard to believe at first. The main character of this film was just going through the death of a loved one. The first week I learned the diagnosis of my father was not difficult, but then I gathered myself and decided to use the experience of the main character who was going through the death of a loved one. I decided to share with my father my preparation for this role. We started talking about love, time and death. It was one of the most open and powerful conversations we have ever had. The doctor said that my father would lie for another 6 weeks, and he lived for 4 months. About 3 months after what the doctor said, I go to my dad and he says, it's just a shame. I ask, what's dad? And he says, you say you are going to die in 6 weeks. 3 months later you are still hanging around. But it was so cool, in the sense that we were talking soul to soul. It was fun, and I think that I could make this experience of grief and such protective properties of pain and sorrow, which is directly connected with the joy of pain and suffering, directly related to joy. To be able to survive directly is associated with the ability to find joy. Greatness is not illusory, godlike, the thing that is only The chosen one is what each of us has. The only thing that makes me different is that I'm not afraid to die on the treadmill. You can be more talented, you can be smarter, but if you and I are on treadmills, there are only two options. Either you get off the treadmill first or I die. I want my life, my job, my family. I want it all to mean something, and I believe that if it doesn't make someone's life better, then you're wasting your time. Confucius says the one who says that he can and the one who says that he can't both most often tell the truth. You just need a huge level of concentration with every cell of your body. With all your creativity, you will have to concentrate.